Hello and welcome to a Star Wars Unlimited podcast episode from the Nordic Takedown. I'm so humble, and this is episode 89. Today I am joined with Viktor,
Hello.
my constant co-host lately. It feels like
We've been podding a lot lately.
yeah. And today we're not alone, which we have been a few times. We have Pontus with us. Hello.
Hello.
And today we are going to have a little bit more casual talks. It's not going to be uber competitive since we don't have that much to go off. So we're going to review. The topics for today is going to be that we're going to review some of the new game mechanics that has been introduced in the Secrets of Power. The plot disclosed. We're going to talk a little bit about spy tokens. And depending on how deep we go into that, we also have some other side topics with some sleeper cards of the set, which is like, of course, there's going to be some because we have barely played with the new set. But that, and maybe some things that we've been brewing up during these first couple of weeks of Secrets of Power. So let's start with Pontus. What have you been up to lately?
Yeah, I've been playing the new set, of course. Yeah, I've been trying my hands on a couple of leaders, not very successfully, but still fun. First of all, I got my showcase with DJ, so I had to try that. But so far, he seems to just suck, honestly. But we'll see. I'm going to try some more. I also tried some on Mothman, which has been a little bit more successful, at least. So we'll see what happens. But I'm having fun.
Yeah, nice. Viktor, you have been doing quite a lot since last time.
I have.
Right? Weren't you in Munich with me?
Yes, I was in Munich with you. For sure. I think we were both very tired after Munich. So
Yeah.
especially you with your interesting, let's say, trip home.
Yeah.
So we haven't been on to talk about it yet, and it feels like it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But because of course so much has happened in the Sui world since, with the new set actually being out there and testing new decks and having fun. So yeah, I'm having fun with the thing, and I had a lot of fun in Munich. I won't go too deep into that. My run was, as always, bobbling out. I was one victory away from what you needed to make day two. That's been the sort of my lot in life lately.
Sometime in the future,
Yeah, what
can happen.
I'll make the cut, I guess, eventually. But this time I did not. But again, I had such a good time. It's always so great to hang out with free players because, this community is just awesome to hang out with. I'm just thoroughly enjoying every moment I get with the game.
Completely agree on that part. Hanging with sweet people is usually very pleasant. That's for sure. I went 3-0, and then we don't have to talk about the rest. I was 3-0. I didn't go 3-0. I didn't drop after it. I started 3-0, and I wasn't the worst Enigma player at the tournament.
No, you guys did not have your best tournament showing yet. I guess Tim obviously did really well.
Yeah. Tim took semis, and Dylan was 5-1 and went 5-3. In the end, he did a Viktor. Kind of. So we had some close, but both me, Bettan, and Sip were all out before the last round. I think we didn't even have a winning in to play. But yeah, it was nice hanging with people. There was, I think we are both a little bit disappointed on how the structure of the event was compared to we thought the German machine. This is going to be great, no problems. Then there was 3 bathrooms for 500 nerds.
I'd say it's the structure. If you include the venue, I 100% agree because the venue was a little bit underwhelming. To say it in a nice and fair way.
Yeah.
But especially like I was there the day before to pre-register.
Yeah.
And the guys, the OPE guys were talking, and there's going to be loads of food trucks, and there was one. There was one.
It wasn't
food truck.
really a food truck.
No, they brought it all in there.
Yes, it was an in-house pizzeria.
Yeah.
So there was not a ton. There was a little bit weird. We thought that they you were mentioning that they really want to go big because make the SWU community trust them. I think they failed to deliver on that part. It wasn't a shit show by any means, but
no, I actually think like because when you first said like the organization, I thought you meant like how they ran the tournament.
No.
And I think there were in like especially the main tournament, I think there were really smooth runnings, and they made some improvements to the formula. There's still room for improvement, and we've talked about some of it, but overall I think like as a TO they did okay, if not good. And as a venue booker, maybe they need to look further.
And maybe because they might have been great TOs, but it was hard to hear.
Their sound engineers, not so great. Like I don't know who was at the controls of those microphones, because if you know anything about the soundboard, you could have so easily made that sound a lot more intelligible. But well, I guess it's all in the good fun, you know. I'm fine.
They're gonna get better with every experience. I think every tournament they do, hopefully at least.
I think like with OPE, they've run thousands of tournaments for different games. Like they are so experienced.
I'm
so
thinking maybe it's different people for SWU. Maybe there isn't actually.
That could be because it was the SWU judges that were talking, but you know, you'd expect them to know that they have to bring in a sound engineer to actually, you know, tweak the knobs a little bit before they start working on the mic. There's just little things that you'd think OPE would know how to do, and I was thoroughly expecting them to like pull no punches, just to like have everything work perfectly, and that was not what happened. It was what, but I was hanging out most of the time with a good old Irish friend of mine, and he was just no, they're British. That was his explanation for the whole thing. Yeah, no, they are doing their best right now. They're just British.
It won't get better. All right. So if you were underwhelmed, try to go for the Fanfinity events. That's what we're saying.
Well, they're a bit British too, aren't they?
Like for the most part, at least the venue booking has been very good. At least. But yeah, we're not going to dwell on that too much. There was a great episode last season, last episode with Steve-O and Jason going through it a bit. Of course, a lot focused on the run of Steve-O, of course, but they covered most of it.
I think so.
But yeah, so I personally was also there, of course. Other than that, just starting to get into the set a little bit. For me, I haven't really. I took a little bit of a week break after Munich, because why not? We don't really have anything to play for big in Sweden or in the Nordics before the 3rd of January. That's the first PQ. Right. And then, of course, going into afterwards, it's if you're going to Amsterdam, to Paris, and all those stuff, it's going to line up. But we have quite a lot of time for it. So I've been trying out Riftbound just to see what's out there. And I can tell everyone that Riftbound Set 1 versus Star Wars Unlimited Set 1, big difference. Star Wars is a lot better, like as a Set 1.
Yeah, I think so. Like when you look at Riftbound, what's really impressing me is their like how they are planning for OP, organized play, and how seriously they go into that part of it. But that's not surprising because they have a lot of experience with that from their electronic games.
Yeah.
And then when you flip on that and you look at FFG, who is not as experienced when it comes to competitive games, that's not where they've excelled before. But on the other hand, FFG has a long history of making incredibly good and like innovative card games. They've made some of the best card games I can think of throughout the history. Not as good as managing them, but inventing them. That's like they're probably the best out there at this.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Seeing that the set one of Star Wars was good shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that knows anything about this. Obviously it was going to be, because that's what they do. They do really cool concepts and really cool designs. That's what they do.
Yeah, totally agree. Not gonna bash on the Wristbound, still miles better than Lorcana. So, but yeah, like I think we were very happy in Star Wars when like that they had like a competitive scene plan, because it was a lot better than what they had done in Destiny, and a lot better than Lorcana did. But now Riot is coming out and showing, hey, we could actually have a plan from the start. You don't have to. You don't have to wait.
No,
and I think this is that can be good. It kind of forces the other OP teams to step up. If some other player comes in and like showing them this is how you can do it, you have to match us, not maybe on the price level, but like the structure level.
Like the professionality of it, of it all.
If you're gonna have it at all, don't have to have OP in all games. I mean,
no,
TCG, yes, you need.
Yeah, but it makes sense to have it. Oh well, I mean, there are things like what's that? The like old school Magic game, Sorcery, I think it's called.
Yes,
which is basically just like what Magic would be if it was just casual and for fun.
All right.
So they have some organized play, I think, but it's not really a competitive game. I guess that works. That's not for me, but
not when I'm putting so much money into it as a TCG. Obviously, there are more expensive hobbies, but like I would like to do some more than just kitchen table with thousands of crowns. But yeah, let's move into the main topic instead of discussing what card games is best, because we know it's Star Wars Unlimited,
right?
So
that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we have the pod here. So we haven't really done this too much during the pod with the new sets, discussing the new mechanics in depth that much. No. We'll see where this lands. So you can just comment in the sections if you liked it or hated it afterwards. But we're gonna start with the plot keyword, which is, I'm gonna just describe it a bit. It's basically you can play things from your resource pile when you flip your leader.
So maybe Pontus want to go into some specific rulings and some things to keep in mind when you're playing with plots before we start assessing what we think about the cards and the mechanic of itself.
Yeah, why not?
Yes. So like the main thing here that I've seen people not really understand properly is that when you flip your leader, you first have to show the cards that you want to have the option of playing from your plot cards, from your resources. And then you can start choosing which to play. So if you, during this, for example, if you play a plot card and you replace it with the top card of your deck, and that's another plot card, you can't play that new plot card.
Makes sense.
So that's the main thing. Other than that, it's not that complicated. People know how Smuggle works, and like it's kind of similar, but you only do it when you deploy your leader. But of course, if you have a leader that can deploy more than once, then you have more options to do plot, for example.
Yeah, I think, like you said, mechanically, you want to start like I'm going to do my epic action and flip my leader, and I have some plot cards, and then you just turn over all the plot cards that you're even thinking about playing.
Yeah,
because you don't actually have to play all the ones that you do flip, but you can't play any ones you didn't flip.
Exactly.
So just flip over those that you are considering playing. And then you start playing them one by one. As you're playing them, tap resources and replace. So So I think that's a good thing. And then but at the end of it, after you've replaced a couple and you feel like maybe you like flip into a Cassian or something and you want to save 5 resources to actually play that, and then you can't afford to play the last plot card and that Cassian you just drew into, well, then maybe you say, nah, I'm not going to play this last plot card I flipped, and you turn it back over again and save 5 open resources for your next action.
Yeah. But importantly, just to reiterate, because it's important, you have to show all of them before you start playing any, and you can only play those.
Yeah,
no
all
others.
the ones you consider.
All the ones that you want to have the option of playing. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yeah, because you're not committing to all of them. Yeah.
No, exactly. No. But you cannot play anything you didn't reveal there. Also, I think it's important to understand that then, after that, actually playing them is each in the same timing window as reactions to your leader flipping. So if your leader has an ability from flipping, like Yoda or something, then you can resolve that in between playing 2 of the plot cards, or before playing any of the plot cards, or after playing all the plot cards. It's just these are separate instances of reactions to your leader.
I haven't considered that. Can you actually do it? You don't have to do all the plot cards?
Nope. And this is very importantly if you look at Han 4 ability, which will be that you can ready resources. So you can play plot cards for all of your resources, and then trigger Han 4 ability to ready some resources, and then play the last plot card or the last few plot cards you revealed. So yeah. You can. They are all separate instances, and they're all triggering on the same condition, which is your leader flipping. So you can do any of them, but obviously you have to resolve the card that you are playing fully before you can take another reaction to your leader flipping.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah. So basically, what a plot card is it has a bit of a smuggle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, for me, I would describe the plots with 2 things. It is card advantage, and action cheating.
Yes. So you're trading the stronger card advantage abilities of smuggling, where you can play them as any action. You're trading that against the fact that you get action cheating instead. So instead of having a very flexible timing for it, but now you get action cheating instead.
So now when we've discussed it a little bit, what it is like, Pontus, how do you? What is your review of plot so far?
It's pretty mixed. There's some of them seem really powerful, and I think we're gonna see some of them. Going to see a lot of play, but there's also a bunch that feel like, kind of meh. So like it's pretty much as expected with any new mechanics in a new set. Like all of them can't be great. That would be pretty weird. But there's
some are just
interesting
exploit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because one thing I was very confused with in the beginning, I thought that you could only play 1 plot card when it flipped. It was not clear really for me that you can play everyone, like multiple, which means, because depending on how much resources you have, you can when you're flipping and how much the cards cost, you can basically get 3 cards in advantage in one turn, or like action sheet 3 actions. Like it's kind of insane how much action sheeting you can do by having plots, depending on how strong the plots are, obviously, like in comparison. What do you guys think about that? Like, just that you can play multiple cards in one turn, basically, because we don't really have that.
Yeah, no, it's new in a way. We've had some action cheating, such as some cards allowing you to attack with other cards when you play them. Adelphi, and like Sabine has loved playing some of these cards. Fleet Lieutenant from set 1, Adelphi Adelphi Fighters. Oh, whatever. There are cards, Maskanata, the second one, and that allows you to do some action cheating, and that has been powerful in some decks. Action cheating has been a thing that is important, but has not been abusive in any way, shape, or form yet. I
Unless you
think that
count Rebel Assault.
I was just going to say that the most abusive instance of action cheating we've seen has been in Rebel Assault, and maybe in the early goings, Leia's ability, which is basically the same.
Yeah.
But other than that, we haven't seen abusive action cheating, but it feels like plot has some potential to be more abusive. However, like Pontus was saying, it also feels that they've been quite aware of that, and they have made most of the plot cards, much like they did with the smuggle cards, quite overcosted for what they do. And the problem here with smuggle cards, they just, get very meh. But with plot cards, if they're overcosted, they might just be unplayable. Because if you can't delay flipping with most leaders. Almost no leader can wait with their flip. There are exceptions, but most leaders don't. They flip when they can flip. They like Kira sometimes waits with her flip, and Palpatine sometimes waits with a flip. Other than that, I can't think of anything where you would do it other than that you just can't flip because it's not going to work for you. But that's never a good thing. With those two leaders, maybe it could be a strategic choice.
There are some instances where you have such a good unit on board that it's just better to get the attack off.
Right.
Like and if you have a Poe, it's not worth risking him dying to flip a Han too.
Exactly. And so, but that's another example of when it's not really a good thing to wait with the flip. It's just that you're in a position where you have to do it because you have more important stuff, or maybe you have to claim to defend not losing, and you can't afford flipping.
That happens too.
Yeah, so there are instances, but they're rarely actually a positive strategic choice. It's more of a lesser evil. But of course, with Kira, sometimes it is actually a positive strategic choice. You wait, you hold on that flip as a threat, and the same with Palpatine.
I could see it happening with some of the new plot cards as well, because, for example, I don't remember the name of the one that stops your opponent from playing events.
Yeah,
I could see it potentially happening with something like that.
So this does a couple of things. The plot keyword makes it so that it makes your flip more impactful. Some leaders have had weak flips where they don't actually do anything when they flip. And if you have a plot card that is important for your build and your strategy, maybe that could be a thing now. But I think, generally speaking, waiting to flip is very costly. So if a plot card is more expensive than what your leader flips on, it is not very likely that you're going to put it in your deck. It's just not worth putting in your deck, probably.
No, for sure,
yeah.
I think, it's, as you say, like, there are a lot of leaders that don't have the benefits of waiting sometimes. Like, if you play a controller style, then you might just, you don't need to flip yet, so you're just passing and waiting. But if you're more proactive, it's always bad. Almost always bad.
Pretty much always.
And I think most of the decks that's going to use plots are going to want to be a little bit proactive.
Right. Most of them would be.
Those are the ones gaining on action cheating.
Yep.
Most likely. They want the initiative. They want, they want to be able to do things fast.
Right.
Do you like it though, Viktor? Do you like the plots?
I'm very neutral to them, I have to say. I don't think they are. I would rather actually have had more smuggle, I think. Because I think the mechanic of it is underexplored, and I think there could have been much more exploration of that mechanic.
I agree.
But this is kind of the same. I love smuggle, by the way. Like that mechanic is probably the best mechanic they've introduced after the core set. In my mind, I just find it as a very, very good mechanic.
It might be the best mechanic in any card game,
right? Isn't it? It's very, very interesting to play with. It opens up so many things, and I think plot does most of it in a little bit of a different way. I don't know that the differences makes, like we were talking about, they made a sort of a trade-off. They tried to balance how they did it. So instead of having the they gave us the action sheeting by making it more like this is when it's going to happen. But I don't know that that's interesting enough to warrant a new mechanic, really. I think maybe we could have just stuck with Smuggle. But now this is what we have. Are they any good? And much like with Smuggle, you can see some colors got the better ones and some colors got not so much. So with Smuggle, yellow had a lot of really good Smuggle cards, right? Both villainous and heroic and regular yellow. And here we see a lot of red, really strong plot cards. I'm mostly thinking about the event that allows you to deal 3 damage basically to everything. Let me see if I can pull up the name of that. Topple the Summit. Deal 3 damage to each damaged unit. I think that's super strong in both controlly decks, but also in mid-range decks that are looking to stabilize or just take over the board. I've seen it being used to very great effect in Boba DV because it works very well with his flop. And of course, we have the attachment Sudden Ferocity that is just speeding up the game by 1,000,000. Like that card single-handedly opened up the pace and made so many more leaders be viable as aggro leaders. Let me read it out as well. Then it's a 3-cost upgrade. It basically just has the text plot, and then it is a 3+3+0 attachment, and you can attach it to anything. Simple. It just doesn't just go to units, or you can attach it to a ship or a creature, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and of course we have Sinterklaas as a plots.
I'm not as impressed with that.
No,
that's one of
I
the.
agree.
That's one of the
but
ones.
She's really strong in Boba.
And then Luke.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But I think she's definitely an example of where the cost is too high for what it does. Those leaders that are most interested, but Boba is probably one of the leaders that are most interested in Sinterklaas. Yeah,
and I think we might see Luke because because of Sinterklaas as well.
Maybe.
All pilot leaders, the flips on 6, loves this. I like pilot leaders in general because.
Well, if they
I mean, Cass doesn't care for it.
Cass doesn't because he's so early. Yeah. But like because pilot leaders. They suck. No, they are so unfun for the game. But so is plot. Now comes the rant. Like they love making the game non-interactive, and that's what Sinterklaas is helping you to do it. Even less interactive.
That's my worry too. Yeah,
that's why she likes, like Boba and Luke would like it, because if they just have the ship, you play and attack.
Yeah,
doesn't matter if you have confiscate. Doesn't matter if you have fang fighter, bamboozle. You're just gonna get shit ton of damage in your head, unless you've removed everything.
That's my worry for sure.
And that's what I'm like. There is a lot of similarities between Star Wars Unlimited and Star Wars Destiny.
Right. Yeah.
And one of the most problematic mechanics in Star Wars Destiny was action cheating.
Yeah.
Because the whole game is built upon, I take a turn, you take a turn.
Yeah.
And that's how we interact, because we don't have, like, I play this event, can you deny it?
Yeah.
Do you have an event card?
In response to that, I will.
No. Yeah.
There are no reactions. You can't react from hand.
Yeah, and that's what I love with the game, because I think that's so annoying, because it's like, are you going to play something every time? You're playing some event, like you have to check if your opponent has a reaction. Here you just do your stuff and your opponent goes. But because that's your reactive moment, your turn.
Yeah.
But when you remove the opponent's turn, basically, like with plot can do, like for 3 plays, like kind of do.
Right. Yeah.
I fear that the games, like, because if we lose the, you go, I go. What is the game really?
Yeah. Well, then it's just the potential for abusive things are huge, like we talked about.
Yeah.
But also you miss some of what is making this game special.
Yeah,
that is one of the signatures of the game. One of the things that make people love the game.
And that's exactly why I'm worried about Sinterklaas specifically. because she is the one the plot card that has the most potential to just, okay, I couldn't do anything, I just died. Like if you're against an aggro deck and they manage to do like enough damage, then on the flip turn you just die because they action cheat with that. So
Well, I mean, that's when you're looking at a deck that wants to attack base. For those decks, yes.
Yeah.
But then Topple the Summit is just even worse for any deck that is controlling. It's basically a board clear for 5.
If you manage to damage stuff.
I mean, yeah. Do you know any leaders that can damage on flip? Because I know Kira.
Yeah.
I mean, only units with 7 or more health survives a Kira flip if you lose Kira red. Nothing else survives a Kira flip. Shielded units. Shielded units could survive.
Yeah. So the non-interactive part is what I don't like, and that's why I agree that this mechanic is
problematic.
Bad. And I think it's just bad because I think because we have an amazing mechanic in Smuggle, which we don't have a lot of Smuggle cards in set 4, 5, 6. So it's just we don't like all the good Smuggle cards is going to disappear in next set.
Hopefully they come back.
Hopefully it comes back already on set 7, but it's not.
We're not guaranteed. We don't know anything about it.
I think I would rather just keep making these Smuggle cards, maybe in different ways, because I also like the flexibility, as you said, because if you can only do it on flip turn, it has to be this abusive combo nastiness. It has to be that.
Yeah.
It has to be Jar Jar buffing up Sabine. But when you have a Cassian, you can do it you get the flexibility, you can use it for, this game is going to go grindy. That's why I add a couple of Smuggle cards, even though they're worse, because I get card draw. They have a more flexible use compared to...
On an abstract level, I think there is, if you look at the plot cards, most of them obviously are not abusive. Like if you look, you mentioned Jar Jar here. I don't think that's abusive. I think that's strong, but I think it's far from abusive. I think that's as strong as you want to make this kind of thing. You don't want to make it stronger than that. And it is on the verge on too strong.
He's probably too strong, but sure. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
or like he's not abusive anyway.
Yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's too strong, but if it's not interactive.
Exactly. And he doesn't remove your option to interact. He just changes the premises of your interaction, which is, if it's not too bad, it's fine. And you can do that, but you can't do it too much. And I think the things where you can't interact, where you can get Kira ability and then 3 more on it, that's too much for me. If you can get
because you can't play around that. That's just has it drawn it or not.
Just happens. And that's a problem. And I think with this kind of trade-off that they made here, they kind of made themselves again into the same situation where they often are, where they have to make the cards weak to make them not bad. And I like strong cards. I hate Jar Jar Binks, but I like that card. It's a strong card that doesn't change how the game works. It's just a strong card. But I don't like Topple the Summit. I don't like Synthacos, even though if I don't think she's very good, I still don't like her.
Yeah. And also there is some, if we just not talk just balance, but there is a fun factor in, I don't enjoy my opponent flipping and spending 6 resources and put out 4 cards on the board before I get to do anything.
No, right.
It's just not fun.
No, and there's where you have the sudden ferocity, which is, again, not abusive, but it is just making the game so fast.
I think it's so ironic because they have been talking about how they want the game to be more interactive.
Right. Yeah.
Like they've been talking about they want to remove the direct removal events. Like they don't want as much of that to make the game more interactive. And then they do this. Like what's going on?
Yeah, like I think direct removal are interactive.
Exactly. That's the definition of interaction.
No,
That's a card that does nothing else than interaction. Most of these cards do more than one thing, but like 1-for-1 removal is just interacting.
But
it's
like
nothing else.
The least fun games I've ever had in Star Wars Unlimited is when like I play unit, they play Power of the Dark Side. I play unit, they play Power of the Dark Side. I play unit, like that's not interactive. I
kind of disagree on that part because it is interactive, and you need to have. There is usually a game plan that when I get to 6-7 resources, I can start putting out 2 units a turn, and he's not going to be able to catch up. It's just a different. The first couple of rounds are different. But here, it's not interactive at all. I'm just like, here's my board. And they put like, especially like, they put like 5 units in one turn, or the big saber. And I'm like, and then you're just going to claim. So if I don't have the answer, do I claim?
Yeah.
With 5 resources? Yeah. I cannot do that.
No, yeah.
So it's just not a fun mechanic. And they know that this action cheating stuff was so... They had so much problem with it in Destiny. Like they put themselves in a hole that actually like they blocked people from making even plays because there was like this card interacts with this, so it blocks. Like it was so much stuff, and it smells like that. It smells like the same designer that started the action cheating.
I mean, I think we have to just to try to stay a little bit positive. I think they've been good at suspending cards when they've been too like abusive. So if it turns out that some of these cards are, I hope and I think they will suspend them. And maybe the entire mechanic is problematic. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think they will definitely suspend cards that gets too broken or things. They have shown that. I just worry that the game is going to get less fun. Yeah, because exactly. I'm also thinking about after rotation. When a lot of the fun stuff rotates out, we don't know what's coming in. Of course, it could be a lot of the old stuff getting in, and we have no problems. But I think 2 of the absolute worst game mechanic we have is pilot leaders, not pilots, pilots leaders, because they are very uninteractive. They flips the game, yada yada, and then we also have the plots. So in a world where we just have those and we removed all the good interactive stuff. What is Star Wars Unlimited next in set 7? I'm very afraid. I hope it's still going to be good and they will fix stuff. But that's a bit of a worry. I like, even if Jar Jar isn't OP or Syntakas isn't OP, they are not fun.
Yeah, I think Jar Jar could probably be fun, but I don't think Syntakas can be, and I think Jar Jar has been underwhelming in my experience now in testing. I thought he was going to be extremely good, but he's been kind of good. But that's beside the point. I tried to open this discussion about plot in just not as a negative way, but I agree very much with Adam that I think that is not a very good design space they're working on here. They are close to something that could have worked, such as obviously that's what I open up with saying, obviously, but even within what they're doing, they could, I guess, make this work, but I'm not really seeing why. So if I want to be positive instead, I'd move on to the other mechanic, because I do think Disclose is a very interesting design space. I think that on the other hand, is a design space that is underexplored and then does some things for the game that I really like instead.
Yeah, let's move on to that. First, one thing I would say, one thing they could change with plot if it comes too interactive is that they could do the ruling you can only play one plot.
Right, that's one thing.
Yeah, because that's just one card.
And ban Topple the Summit.
and maybe Synta.
Synta remains to be seen how abusive she is. But I think that, again, you talked about them being proactive and banning things. Well, they're not proactive in that. They are reactive, quite quick on reaction, and I like that. They do have their ear to what we're talking about, and that's good. but they've limited themselves with a card like Syntha. I don't think she's going to be a huge problem right now, but they've limited the design space, because if they design something that interacts with her, she's just going from 0 to hero in a second.
Yep.
Like that is going to be so abusive the second she has a target. And I don't really see it right now.
I'm going to say set 7, Cassian Data Vault with Zinta. That's going to be premier aggro. Nasty stuff. Let's
we'll see. Let's move on to something that is interesting and very positive in my mind.
I think Disclose is a really cool thing. I'm just going to, before Pontus will go into the rule stuff, Disclose, basically, you have a card that says something. On attack, disclose, or when defeated, disclose. And disclose means show something from your hand to either make sure something doesn't happen or something happens. Am I right, Pontus?
Yeah, essentially. There's 2 details I want to mention here. And the first thing, that there is a distinction between showing a card and revealing a card.
All right.
Because there is the word reveal in certain card texts, and that means that you show a card, but it's actually a part of the rules. While, for example, with plot, you don't reveal those cards, technically speaking. So that won't trigger Padme Amidala's ability, for example. So that's just one distinction. And the other thing is that when you disclose, you can show how many cards, however many cards you want, and even cards that don't have the aspects, you can show them if you want to, or reveal them. But they're not considered to be revealed, quote unquote, from a rules perspective or from triggering effects, unless you actually meet the requirement of the reveal effects.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mostly, right now at least, I maybe think only important for Padme Amidala, her ability, but it's very important for her.
Yeah, I was thinking one thing that's quite important is when you do a disclose and show, like, now new information has been shown. So that's a take back window.
It definitely changes that.
Yeah,
it changes a lot.
No matter how you look at it, this has to qualify as new information. Yeah. I can't see any conceivable way where it wouldn't. What I really like mechanically about this is that it is, just technically speaking, it's another cost to get some triggers.
Yep.
And you can use it in different ways. You can just make a card more expensive in another way. And the way it is expensive in is that it is making you have to build your deck with this in mind.
Yeah.
It's the opportunity costs when you're building the deck. That is the real cost here. And that is interesting. When you make people have to think about things when they build decks, that is good. That is something I like in a game. So you have to look at the cards that you want to use with disclose abilities and see to the fact that you are going to have to, at a satisfying enough level, be able to disclose that thing when you're playing it or using this ability. So some of the disclose are quite easy to me. Like they might just be that you disclose one colored icon and black or white icon. Well, you're going to have a lot of those cards probably in your deck. You might be satisfying this ability with just one card quite often. But if you look at a card that I really like, that is perfect for me.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Faith in your friends.
Faith in your friends.
Yeah.
This is a card that says, I'll read that. It's a 2-cost card, so it's quite cheap, which it should be. If you want to be able to use this early on, but they've made it more expensive than with the disclose instead. So what it says is 2-cost, yellow, white, event. Search the top 3 cards of your deck for a card and draw it. So you can play this without disclosing anything, and you're going to get to search 3 cards and draw a card. Then you may disclose 3 yellow and 2 white, 2 heroic symbols and 3 cunning symbols. And then if you do, create 2 spy tokens.
That's
So this is a real
your
cost.
entire hand if you play
Yeah.
from round one. Like,
So this makes it so that you actually might resource differently to be able to use this, because it's a quite good opening play. Getting 2 spy tokens and draw into a new card.
Yeah.
This is a good first turn play. But it does mean that you have to have 3 other cards with, well, between the 3 other cards you have to be able to reveal 3 yellow and 2 white. So this is where this kind of mechanic is really good and where it's really cool in my mind.
I agree. It's really cool. I like the mind games get really interesting. Like how much information can you afford to give to your opponents?
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you say, it's another cost basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you talked about the main cost with it is how you design your deck. Most of them just fit in their decks. So for me, the main cost of it is that you reveal for your opponent what you have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me. Like the card you showed, obviously, that you need to think about the resourcing when you need to show so many aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're playing double cunning in that, because then it should be fine. But yeah, like the thing of like not showing, sorry, revealing, revealing cards to your opponent. We've not had that too much. We have had a Childson, very very strong with revealing with that thing. And I like what you said, Pontus, about the mind games. Like, all right, I'm going to show you my power of the dark side. Or do you really want to gamble on playing things? And then you might just resource it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are thinking, obviously, he has power of the dark side on hand.
Yeah.
I can't flip this alone. That would be stupid.
Yep.
That could be a very cool. I think that there we have a lot of skill that you can put into the game. Like if we talked about plot being a lot non-skilled, this is like you can go with a mind game route, but you could also like, I might need to keep this a little bit weaker card because I don't want to show this blue card or yellow. Like I think, like I hope
it's skill on
it's gonna
both
be
sides
like
as well. Like you have, if you've been given information by your opponent because they disclose something, then that affects like how you play as well.
Yep.
So it's like, so it's perfect. Fits perfectly with the set theme as well. I love it.
Yeah, and this is a design space that opens up the future. If we talked about how plot kind of limits things for future designs, this opens up designs. This is something you can keep going with disclose abilities. This is how you can make cards a little bit stronger and add this cost without having to make them unplayable because they cost too many resources. You can have the correct resource for what you want to pay for this ability, but make it strong because you can add this other tax. And especially when you go in the route of Faith in My Friends, where you're making the disclose thing actually hard to achieve, or at least something you need to consider, then you can actually have a really strong ability, as in Faith in Your Friends. This ability is super strong, but it has this cost. And they have some more cards that do this, where you have like an actual cost in the disclose, and that allows for the card to actually also be stronger. I really like this, and I love that they're going this route. I hope they keep exploring this thing, that they don't just leave it as a one thing for this set, but actually something they keep working on.
Yes, it seems like they have been doing that with most.
Just one set and then move on, right?
Yeah.
Well, not. I mean, some mechanics.
Hidden is the only one that's been made evergreen after set 1.
Hidden has been made evergreen, yes, but you've seen both bounties and captures in many sets.
Yeah,
no, bounties haven't seen in many, but you've seen bounties outside of the very first set, right?
Oh,
it came in set 2, but
there was none in set 1. I don't think there's been any after set 2.
Is set 2 the only one with bounties?
I think so.
Capture at least has been.
Yes,
Capture has definitely been in more than one set.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one they've kept working on, and we haven't seen any pilots after set 4, right?
Nope.
I certainly hope not. I think what I hope they are doing is like they might go through a list like what keywords do like, because now I think we are in an amount of keywords that are enough, like for a game to be good. Review which ones were bad and sad, and then which ones were good and highlights, to make sure that the highlight ones come back every rotation.
Every
Because
few sets or
we
something.
are going to like rotate, like, and just make sure that like smuggle is always there, but in different, maybe the Cassian is not like the Cassian play is not always on hero red. It might be blue.
Yeah.
Like it might shift forms and stuff like
Shift
that.
where it belongs, and maybe shift the stats between it, but keep
Yeah.
the keyword smuggle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can introduce like, oh, we had some really poor ones, like capture didn't really fly, bounties were like solid. You might want to explore something else instead of them, but like stuff like, as we said, smuggle, indirect damage have been awesome. Like stuff like that. Keep printing those that are really loved and liked. And you might not have to do a full set of those because they are already introduced, but you can have like a few cards in every set that has a little bit of them, right?
Yeah, I could see them also in having a set where one of the old mechanics comes back as one of the focus mechanics for that set as well. So
Yeah,
that would also be fun.
But I think like that the fact that they limit a lot of mechanics to just one set, that is in of itself not a good thing, especially since they are designing leaders around those focus mechanics, and those leaders never get any more cards really.
it is very good for limited play.
Yes.
That we should say.
I agree with the concept of a focus mechanic, but don't stop using the mechanic.
I think it's hard to know how they're gonna do like in the future. I think it makes sense to do that for the first 2 years.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
and then like start reusing things. That's what I'd say.
But you know, we wouldn't have hurt if we got like 2 smuggle cards in every set.
No, that's true.
That wouldn't have made anything worse after
it would
after
been interesting.
It's the focus mechanic of set 2, but then you get 2 more, 1 red and 1 blue in next set, and in the set after that you get a yellow and a green one. Like you can keep at some of them. Like capture has been a little bit underwhelming, but it's still not a bad mechanic. There's nothing wrong with the mechanic, and they've kept at that one. So why not keep at the good ones, the really good ones?
Yeah, we obviously know that they are planning a lot in ahead, like clearly, but every card is not set in stone always. So when you realize that indirect damage or smuggle is very popular, or maybe disclose for that matter in the future, you could like just make sure you add them in a little bit, and maybe now at least in 6 and 7, when they realized smuggle was good, maybe they were around 7 or 8 of set, then they should be thinking, hey, this needs to be here, we cannot be without it. Like I get if they introduce the mechanic for the first time and they want to see how it
plays
if it's
out.
if it's well received, and then they are already a few sets ahead, so they can't just pile it in. But I think we're getting close to where they could have piled in smuggle.
No, I would really like that, and like the same should be true for when a mechanic isn't very good.
Yes.
So plot hopefully will rotate out and we won't see it ever again.
We will never see pilot leaders ever again, please.
Yeah. And like I don't really mind either coordinate nor exploit.
No.
They're just underwhelming. They don't really add much.
They could easily tweak them to make them interesting.
Yeah, they could, but I'm not sure I would think they were interesting either way. I just don't see.
I think exploit has potential, at least, for being interesting.
I guess.
I think also exploit in a way is quite thematic with the villain side. Like you just kill your own stuff to make something cool. Like so that's thematic, and I did like the coordinate in combination of it was being the Clone Wars. Like the swarmy, like the armies, like that made sense. So if they do a focus on another war, they could bring it back with better cards, obviously. Yeah, and make it better. But moving back to the close a little bit, because we didn't hear too much about you thought, Pontus. Have you played anything with it? Like what is your like feeling right now? Is it good? Is it well powered, or do you think it's a fun mechanic and it's trash?
In the decks I've played with and played against, there hasn't been like an real focus on Disclose. So I don't really, I can't tell from experience, but I think what we've been talking about is true anyway, so to speak. I think it's going to be fun and interesting. So that's all I have to say on that.
All right, yeah, that is all good. That's all good. I also think it can be good. I think, as most of the sets, there are not always too many OP cards and good cards. So I think there will be these kind of Nemec cards. He's completely busted.
He's so busted.
And like
He's so busted.
He is maybe one of those who should have a little bit more symbols on the Disclose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
do more maybe.
Yeah, like something like that.
Double up on the symbols there. Would be fine.
Like there was, he's just so good that he doesn't really matter. Like Disclose is not what makes it good. It's just like all the stuff. You're just gonna slam in your deck. Because it's so easy to fit in. So we'll see if there's going to be. And he's a rebel. Why not? It makes sense. Lore-wise,
thematically perfect.
Yeah, of course.
But since Sabine is still in the game, maybe.
But no. If I said that Jar Jar has been a little bit underwhelming in my testing, well, Nemec has not been underwhelming. He's been as good as I thought, or even maybe better.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, almost.
I think. And on top of Nemec, he creates spy tokens. What do we think about spy tokens?
Well, they're fine. Like they're 0-2s with Raid 2. They're officials, which is a little bit interesting. But I've been playing with some spy tokens, and I think they're interesting. Like they can save you some health sometimes if you're playing against aggro, if they want to trade into them instead of trading to your base. So, not overwhelming or underwhelming. That's fine.
I think it's the first time they've got the token unit generation costs right.
Yeah.
This one, unlike all the other token generation things, they've managed to get it on cards that are playable in a way that is interesting to play. The only exception to that would be Vader, Pilot Vader, and generating TIE fighters. Obviously, he liked doing that, and it worked well for him. But no other deck has really been able to generate tokens in a meaningful way. Not even.
I guess Akbar.
I guess. I have to admit, I've never played a lot against the deck since not a lot of people play it, nor played it much myself. But I guess maybe that one worked for them, I suppose. But token generation has been not as good as it should be. But it's like they've just not got it right, the balance of it right. And this time they might have, because generating the spy tokens seems fair. You get what you pay for in a way that is interesting. It's attached to cards that do things you want to do anyway, in a way that it works. You have this yellow upgrade that is called the generator something. That when you attack, it's called Stolen Star Path Unit, and it's 1 cost upgrade, 1+1/+1. Attached unit gains on attack. Name a card. The defending player reveals the hand for each card in the hand with the named card. Create a spy token. This is excellent. Really good.
Also works with when your opponent plays Disclose.
Yeah, exactly. It's just very good, interactive card, skill intense, fun to play, and it gets you spy tokens that are going to be precisely what you need there and then. It's good design.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. So 2 positives and 1 negative. I think that is a plus.
Yeah.
For sure.
So before we wrap this up, Pontus, you were thinking a little bit, maybe you as well, Viktor, about some sleeper cards that people might not have discovered yet. Like, obviously it's early, but
I mean, I can mention one that I have hopes for. I think it's highly likely that it'll be entirely unplayable, but it might be really, really good. And that is 1 in a million, which is it's an event for, I think it's blue-white. I didn't write down the aspects. That costs 1, but you cannot play it from your hand. And it has plot. And then you have to, then you can defeat a unit that has the exact amount of power and current health as the number of resources you control. So if you have 4 resources, then you can defeat a 4/4. But you pay 1 resource to do that. So I think it has maybe potential, but it's going to be really hard to trigger it, to get it to work, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, you can't play it from your hand, right? So you have to plot it, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it with tech as well.
Yeah, you smuggle it with tech. Yeah. No,
But
that would
that's
be
about
interesting. Like, at least for one set you can do that.
And you have but you also have the event that allows you to play plot cards. It's a 1-cost event that lets you trigger a plot card.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's how you want to do it, but you could.
When has become now, which has an errata, by the way. You can't use it as a ramp. So if you know what, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So just mentioning that.
Did you have anything, Victor?
Well, I don't know if this is really a sleeper or anything, but Beguile is a 3-cost yellow event that is basically Waylay with a twist, which is quite interesting. Like, they might not be... Waylay is one of those kind of signature cards for yellow that you kind of assume they're going to always keep in print, but they don't have to with Beguile in print instead, because it basically is the same card. It's 3-cost, it's yellow, it's a trick, and it says, look at an opponent's hand, and this is the extra part. You get to look at your opponent's hand. Then choose a non-leader unit that opponents controls that costs 6 or less and return it to its owner's hand. So you get to look at the hand, but then you can't bounce the really, really big things.
Yeah.
And I think
you can't bounce your own things, which you could do.
No, you can't bounce your own things. So this is, I kind of like the fact that they're not just blindly reprinting these abilities. They are changing them a little bit, because that means that they can have the overlap. You can have Beguile and Waylay in the meta at the same time, and you might need to choose between them.
A little bit like Spare the Target.
Exactly. But Spare the Target was heroic.
Right.
So that's actually not really
it's not the same,
it's not equivalent in that way, because you can't play it in villainous decks.
If Waylay had been a hero card from the beginning,
sure, absolutely, yeah. But this is a true choice for all decks that could play Waylay. They could instead play Beguile.
Yeah, and some decks want that information about that.
Exactly. So this might be an actual choice. You get something, but you have to pay something. So it's kind of interesting. And if that's the route they're taking, rather than just reprinting, I'm actually for that. I like the idea of keeping the abilities that belongs to the color in print always, but maybe have them in a few different ways rather than just blindly reprinting. That's something cool. And I haven't heard people talk about Beguile a lot, so I think this is a card that's going to see some play.
Yeah, might be, especially after next set. Like, a lot of cards here has a lot of potential for set 7, depending on what they bring.
I'm really looking forward to rotation, I would say.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
I think most people I talked to when I was in Munich was actually really looking forward for set 7. Like, sometimes when you meet people, they are like afraid of rotation. Like, how many players are we going to lose? But like, obviously, there's a committed players going to Munich. I get that. But most people are really like, they are not necessarily tired of the game, but they are looking forward to the rotation anyway, because they are a little bit tired of kind of like Sabine.
For example.
That just never.
I mean, we've had
Sabine
for 2 years.
Yeah, like, she's always there. and some of the cards people like maybe just like say Waylay, Power of the Dark Side, Overwhelming Barrage. People are looking forward to a meta where those are not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, FFG is going to reprint all of them, and we're not going to see that.
Including Sabine? Wait minutes.
Including Sabine, yeah. It's just going to be called something else and be villainous.
Yeah, it's Spark of Rebellion 2.
Yes.
Well, yeah. No, just to plug something that's coming up from the Nordic Takedown, I'm working on and hopefully releasing this week. Maybe it's even been released by the time this episode drops. The follow-up to the State of Sabine that I did half a year ago. So I'm making a video where I've interviewed some of the most prominent Sabine players. And one of the questions I asked them is how they feel about rotation. And surprisingly, well, maybe not that surprisingly, most of them are looking forward to Sabine rotating out because they feel like that will force them to rethink things and do things in another way. So yeah, I think, but like you were onto there, Adam, but when you look at the really competitive player base, their rotation is not a bad thing. It's a healthy part of constructing meta and changing meta. I don't think it's a bad thing. I actually do think it. I've heard a lot of people talk about the classic rotation being very old and not a modern mechanic, but I think it is old and proven rather than just old and outdated.
That's exactly what I feel. And also, I think it's important that to mention that the casual players can still play the new Eternal. If they want to keep playing their Sabine, they can keep playing their Sabine. This is only relevant for if you're playing Premier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Twin Suns, you can keep playing Sabine as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing, like when you look at Star Wars, the game is so cheap compared to something like that Magic or even Flesh and Blood, that rotation isn't a cost in the same sense. Where like Magic, you see a lot of people can't really afford to play modern. Their version of Premier. I can't remember the name of it right now. Standard competitively because it's a little bit too expensive. So people have gravitated to modern, which is a slower rotation. But that's not really where we're at with Star Wars because the costs aren't just that.
No, and it's also not where we want to be.
No,
exactly.
Right. No.
All right. I think that sums it up pretty well for this episode. I'm just going to plug out our YouTube channel. We won't have any streams coming up in a while, I think, because the Nordic PQs and stuff are coming after Christmas.
Right.
It's only if Viktor gets a random invite and it goes on. That's the only thing. But don't stay up awake at night and just hoping to see a stream from us on that part yet.
Exactly.
But we will try to post some content.
We have a few videos coming up. Most importantly, it's a new set, so we're going to have a ranking video, of course.
Yes.
And it's going to drop, I hope, by the end of the weekend, maybe. And like I said, the follow up to the State of Sabine, it's going to be called Sabine Final Evolution. It's dropping hopefully in the middle of this week.
Yep. And
don't forget the Patreon, right? You have a Patreon, right?
Yes, that was what I'm going to go into. Thank you, Pontus. We have gotten a little bit more Patreon subscribers, which we love. If you want, that's the only way at the moment you can support the show by cash, basically, unless you send them to me in an envelope, but then you can DM me. Nobody else needs to know about it. But Patreon is the safe way. I guess it's actually going to me first anyway. So, but yeah, Patreon that would help us a lot.
Seriously, yeah, it's we do have expenses for doing this, and if you like what we're doing, consider maybe helping out with that. We're basically beggars here right now because we don't offer anything in return right now. We are looking into that part as well. We're going to at some point have a proper Patreon program for you. We've just have things to sort out for that before we can start with that. Right now, if you like what we're doing and you feel like, because it's all coming out of our own pockets, we're all paying for this in our own from our own salaries.
Yes.
We're not actually getting any money for this, and if we
Well-
the Patreon. The money we get from Patreon is just going straight into paying fees for our software and hardware.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
we've
what's the
been
link to the
taking it-
Patreon? You mentioned Patreon, but what's the link?
Oh, it's in the description.
It's in the description.
Okay.
It is. I'm so humble, Adam. Donate. No, I'm kidding. So it is the Nordic Takedown podcast on Patreon. It should be there.
Yeah.
Cool.
But if you don't want to Google it yourself, the link is in the description. Also, the YouTube channel. Obviously, the Spotify, because that's probably where you're at. And thank you for staying and let us gravel for your cash. And see you. Victor, do you have something?
Yeah, I just realized something. It happened to both me and you. We had people come up in Munich to us and say hi. And you and me talked about that just before on the pod. And even people referenced that. You said to come up and say hi. And it's like, I love that so much.
That's awesome.
Please keep doing that. And I know you do too, Adam.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's try this time. Thank you, Pontus, for joining us on this episode
That sounds
89.
fun.
And thank you, Victor, for making it hard for me to end this pod. And thank you to me as well for organizing this better than usual. And thank you all for listening, and see you next week. May the force be with you.